Hello everyone, Davey here. So I just got done doing a Steelbook movie collection video, and through it I mentioned that I only had a few Blu-rays, but then the rest were actually going to be 4K collections. Well, considering that we're kind of on the precipice of 4K being kind of like the new thing, I don't think it's going to be the only thing, but it's going to be like the new thing, just like Blu-ray was the new thing when DVDs were still kind of like the main thing. I feel like it's the right moment to at least do a 4K collection. Now, it's going to be partially redundant because yes, there's going to be some of those steelbooks that I already showed off in this collection video because they are the 4K version of those movies. Now, of course, I'm going to breeze on through them and focus more so on the ones that I have not covered, which compile together to form my 4K collection. These are the movies that I thought, you know what, I'll either love the movies so much that I want to have them in the most premium format, which is 4K, or they're movies that need to be on a 4K collection because I feel like I'm curating my own thing here, where this is the seminal pile. These are the movies that need to be viewed in their best format, even if they may not be the best films or one of the greater films of all of cinema. They're at least the movies that I personally feel need to be in a 4K collection somewhere if you have a 4K TV or a 4K player. So, and different criteria will follow depending on the movie, but you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to be doing one new movie that you didn't see before, and then one that you probably saw in that Steelbook collection because they were 4K movies. So to kick things off, I'll start off with like the most basic packaged one here, and it's arguably going to be the more unorthodox entry amongst this entire collection. And that is the Lego Movie. Couple of things to note here. One, it was on sale. It's normally like 25, close to 30 bucks, and I find it for like 15, and I price matched and all that, so got it for a little bit of a steal, and I am not ashamed to say this was my favorite movie of 2014. Yeah, this is one of those movies I can rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. So seeing that they released a 4K version, I'm like, fuck it, throw it on there. Moving on to one that you've already seen, Avengers, the original from 2012. It is in the Steelbook packaging, so if you guys want to, you can check out my Steelbook movie collection video that I just recently did, or you can go and check out the individual unboxing I did for this movie, or at least this version of the movie, because I did one when it originally came out along with Infinity War, so go ahead and check that out. But not much more to say there, except that just like the Lego Movie, the Avengers film, the original Avengers, is one of those that I could just easily pop in and just watch from beginning to end, or from whatever it is that I started watching to the end, and adding it to the 4K collection, and the Steelbook collection was a no-brainer. So let's go on to now one that you didn't see before, Terminator 2. Again, saw it for a little bit of a steal, but also this is genuinely one of the best sequels ever made. This is a movie that not only do I aspire to watch in 4K resolution, but it's also a movie to study and to look at and go, how did they get it right? How did they make a great sequel that topped the first? That makes you even go look at the first and be like, yeah, I'd rather be watching Terminator 2 right now. And this is definitely one that I needed to add to the 4K collection, considering that some of those older movies could look a little grainier because they were shot on film, but that's as high as resolution as you can get with some of those older movies, because you might not get the deepest colors, but you will get the more authentic look of the film when it was originally projected in 1991, or at least specifically 1991 with Terminator 2. Then we got Avengers Infinity War. Again, not much more than I can say. Watch the last collection video that I did on the Steelbooks, or go and check out the unboxing for the individual Steelbook of Avengers Infinity War. But again, amazing movie, one of my favorites from last year. Great addition to the 4K with the resolution, deep colors, and plenty of extras. Cool Steelbook. Pretty much the short version there. Alright, so this is a movie that I absolutely needed to add to the 4K, especially after hearing so much orgasmic talk about how they took the original print and remastered it and made sure that it was all on the disc to get the best resolution, the best color, and yada yada yada, and best sound. The Matrix. Yes, this is one of my favorite films, flaws and all, because I understand that there's some logic and some things here and there within the aesthetic that I can look at and go, okay, you know, what is this? What is this? with that said, this is still a movie that I consider to have stood the test of time. Literally like almost 30 years later. No, not 30 years. 25 years. Almost 25 years later. Hasn't been that long. Actually, I think it's been about exactly 20 years. And yeah, this was again another no-brainer, but not necessarily rushed out to get. But when I saw it for sale, I was like, yeah, definitely. I'm just a little sad that there is a steelbook collection, not only a steelbook collection, but also a steelbook version of this movie out there. Personally, however, I do like this cover a little bit better than the steelbooks. So no real rush to get the steelbook for the 4K version of The Matrix per se, but I'm glad that I at least got a copy of it here in this version. My favorite movie from 2016, and also one of my favorite additions to both the steelbook and 4K collection, and that is Deadpool. Primarily because I just love what they did here with the cover, with the addition of extras, both the physical ones with the little paper dolls and the stickers and all that, but also with the cool digital extras that you get to watch inside of the discs. On top of that, being that I love the movie, I need to own it in not only a 4K, but also in a steelbook, and I'm glad to see that the artwork is even better than the original. Again, you can check out my unboxing for further details. Now we start to jump into a little bit of a bandwagon. A bandwagon that's just not going to stop until literally probably like the end here. And that is the Christopher Nolan bandwagon. Christopher Nolan arguably makes great looking movies. Also great sounding movies. And I feel like one of the very pivotal ways to experience such sound and such imagery is through 4K. Now I'm still working a little bit on the sound aspect of things because I'm still using my TV speakers, so I don't have a sound bar, I don't have a sound system. That's gonna have to wait. But I can at least take advantage of my Sony Bravia TV back there, my 43-inch, in all of its glory to project as great cinematography that Wally Pfister and Hoyte van Hoytema were able to do with the movies that I got here from Christopher Nolan. And I understand there's a Christopher Nolan collection out there, but it was sold out, so I settled for the individual movies. First up is, as my shirt also kind of displays there, Dunkirk. Really nice movie. Great to see that it was available in 4K. Picked it up. And I'm glad that what they do here with the covers, because I think this cover right here looks better than the original. Before we jump back into that Nolan bandwagon, let's carry on here with these steelbooks. Deadpool 2 in 4K. Not as in love with it as I was with the original Deadpool, but I really love the steelbook, and it looks great in 4K. And also they throw in the super duper fucking cut. So it's cool that they threw that in there. So nice little package there. Going back to Mr. Nolan here. One of my favorite films, more so than even Dunkirk, and I needed to own it in 4K. Inception. Right there. Really wish that they did something better with the packagings, with any kind of steelbooks that they could have provided, but at least I'm glad to see that they got this nice little reflective art style to it, along with sleeves. And I love me some sleeves. Then over in the steelbooks, Logan. Really sad that this does not feature the Logan Noir copy, but in 4K, Blu-ray and digital, in a nice little steelbook, needed to own, especially since this was my favorite film in 2016. You're noticing a little bit of a pattern here with the superhero movies. I mean, no, not 2016, 2017. I guess I have to shuffle these around, and I guess I'll skip ahead a little bit so I can go in chronological order, per se. Batman Begins. Right there. Not much can be said about the Batman movies except what's already been said, so I'm not really going to throw too many cents in that direction. Then, Black Panther. It's funny because I'm going to shamelessly say that I mainly got Black Panther here in 4K because of the steelbook. It looks awesome. Got a nice little design to it. Matte finish. Cool background to it as well. There you go. Then, of course, one of the greatest additions to my collection, because I can't begin to really show how much I love this movie, but at the same time, who doesn't? The Dark Knight. Of course, when you saw Batman Begins, I needed to have Dark Knight in there. So The Dark Knight there in 4K, digital copy and Blu-ray with all the features. Can't wait to dig deep into that one with my TV. Then continuing with the steelbooks, Blade Runner 2049. You guys already saw that in the other collection video with my brand new fresh unboxing of the whole thing. Definitely a movie that even if you weren't in love with it, at least pick it up in 4K. It doesn't have to be the Steelbook, but you know, save a couple bucks, pick it up in 4K, and watch it on your TV. You can at least acknowledge that it's a beautiful looking movie that's just gonna look super rich and vibrant on your 4K television. So this is definitely a movie I recommend to at least add to that collection if you can spare the money. But it's the movie that won Roger Deakins' his first Oscar, his first and much overdue Oscar. So I think you need to give the man that. And then, of course, to close out the trilogy, because I just can't leave it empty like that, Dark Knight Rises. Sure, didn't love it as much as Dark Knight. I feel like we were in a mountain of quality here, where it was started here, peaked, kind of dipped a little bit, but still, nice way to close out the trilogy here. Controversial and polarizing in some parts, but still needed to be part of the trilogy. And then lastly on the Steelbooks is going to be the Planet of the Apes 3 movie collection that feature Rise, Dawn, and War all in one cool collectible package right there. Like I mentioned in that other video, this is one of those trilogies that just gets better and better and better. Unlike the Dark Knight trilogy, as sad as I am to say, and as much as I love these movies, the Planet of the Apes movies, the more recent ones, did a great job of taking a character like Caesar and just giving him a better and better story arc as they progressed. And then lastly, of my 4K collection here, is a trilogy that I needed to add. Sure, just like with the Batman movies, not everybody's cup of tea when it comes to its progression of quality, but still, they're movies that are near and dear to my heart, and I just cannot live without them. And knowing that they were released not only in 4K, but in a awesome form of collectible packaging that I just adore, I needed to have it. The original Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy in 4K. So that is 1, 2, and 3 in 4K, Blu-ray, and digital. And again, going back to what I mentioned about the packaging, it's that whole booklet style that houses the discs inside of the sleeves and gives you some cool artwork on the inside. Love that shit. Love it. And that does it for my 4K collection. So it's still in its infancy, so to speak, but I'm hoping that as the years go forward, I'm hoping to add some more movies to my collection. Who knows, maybe some of those top 5 movies that you saw from 2018 will make it onto my collection. Actually, one of them already did, Infinity War. Maybe when it goes on a sale, A Quiet Place, I'll think about picking that one up. And then I just cannot wait for the 4K release of Into the Spider-Verse. That about does it for me and my 4K collection. If you guys have started collecting 4K movies and curating your own collection of what you consider to be the movies to own in 4K for your brand new 4K TV and 4K player, let me know in the comments what you guys specifically own. Make sure you hit that like button or dislike button if you disliked it. Make sure to share it if you liked it enough for other people to watch. Until next time, guys, see you later. And yes, the show still has that very Saturday morning cartoon feel based on its frenetic pacing, the way it just kind of quickly transitions from one shot to the next, and then you also have, you know, that bombastic music and the way the characters also tell their lines.
Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!